outnumber white women at the polls and tip the balance in favor of the Republican Party. Likely, Susan didn't worry about that one bit. The potential for an upset would have been just what she had in mind. Susan's daughter, Fannie, was settled in St. Louis, Missouri, by 1920, when the 19th Amendment became law. Susan had given Fannie every advantage she could manage. Above all else, that meant an education. As a teen, Fannie had left her mother's home in Danville and spent a preparatory year at Western Pennsylvania's Allegheny College. Then she enrolled in the classics course at Berea College, a place that taught Kentucky's poor, black and white. Fannie received her bachelor's degree in 1888 and married her Berea schoolmate, Frank Williams, 3 years later. They began teaching careers and raised 4 children in Covington, Kentucky, before settling in Missouri's largest city. Frank rose to prominence as head of St. Louis's fabled summer high school. When it came to politics, Fannie borrowed a page from her mother's book. While barred from voting, she built power where she could. She proved to be a talented organizer and fundraiser, and spearheaded construction of the first African-American YWCA in St. Louis, named for the enslaved 18th century poet Phyllis Wheatley. Its rooms gave black women a toehold in Fannie's city, a base from which they built skills and influence. In 1919, Missouri became the 11th state to approve the 19th Amendment, but it would take the approval of 15 more states to make it law. In the meantime, there was work to do. Fannie spent the months before the 19th Amendment was adopted preparing the city's black women for the literacy and understanding tests that officials would use to keep them from joining voters' rolls. When Election Day 1920 came around, Fannie knew what was at stake. Perhaps she even cast a ballot. If so, she would have taken special care in dressing for the occasion, putting on a tailored dress, modest pumps, the right piece of jewelry, and a smart hat. The day of the first vote felt as special as any wedding, graduation, or public ceremony. Even when they could cast ballots, the work of winning voting rights was not complete for black women. The 19th Amendment cracked open a door, and some entered into the heart of American politics. Small numbers of those in northern and western cities exercised new political rights. But the daughters of Nancy Graves held no illusions. Even if some of them may have maneuvered past poll officials and cast ballots, the door remained closed to too many African American women. The same poll taxes, literacy tests, understanding clauses, and violence that hampered their husbands, fathers, and sons now beset black women's lives. Susan Davis passed away in 1925. The women of Danville's Domestic Economy Club carried her vision forward for decades to come, raising student scholarship funds with poetry readings, concerts, and lectures. In St. Louis, Susan's daughter, Fannie, picked up her mother's mantle and poured her commitment to women's power into the College Club of St. Louis. She led nationally as a member of the YWCA's inaugural Council on Colored Work. When she boarded a train east to Baltimore in 1936, Fannie represented her state at the annual National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP convention, where delegates resolved, "We insist upon the right to vote and denounce the methods used in some states to deprive Negro citizens of their suffrage." Fannie, the schoolteacher turned activist, believed that getting black women to the polls was a goal that all Americans should work toward. In 1926, Fannie's daughter Susie settled into her own life's work. She and her husband David Jones arrived in Greensboro, North Carolina that year to do some building of their own. 4 children in tow, they set down their bags in David's hometown, charged with establishing a new liberal arts school for black women, Bennett College. Since the end of the Civil War, David